Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rhonda and I garden in Zone 9A, Southeast Louisiana. I have a project I want to do today and show you some of the plants in my raised garden area. Even though it's extremely hot today, the feels like temperature is 103 degrees and it's very humid. We were supposed to get maybe a chance of a little rain shower, but I think we got like 3 drops. So we haven't had a lot of rain lately. I've been having to water all my plants, and I have so many plants, and I don't have drip line hooked up to any of them. I do have drip in one bed over here, but I have to actually hook the hose up to it every single time. So I only do that when it's extremely dry. So I have to water everything by hand. Generally, we get enough rain in the summertime, minus the drought that we had 2 years ago. We had a severe drought. It was pretty bad. But I keep up with the watering. It takes a lot of my time. But I'm going to show you some of the stuff in my raised bed area and the little project that I want to work on. Let me show you. So if you remember in some of my previous videos, back here I had a potting table, and it was one that my husband had made for his mother. He said it was over 20 years ago, so that thing really lasted a very long time. But this is where it sat, right here. In the elements, it was in the rain all the time, but it has withstood everything. But we are still working on the greenhouse. It's just about finished. I've been doing videos. I don't want to show it yet because it's not quite where I want it, but I will show it soon. Anyway, the potting table is now over there under what he calls, I guess you call it a lean-to. It's a little area off the back of it. So it sits under there. Anyway, this was my daughter's bike that she bought several years ago and just left it here. It's rusting, as you can see, so I don't think that she would be too sad about me using it in my garden. But I pulled it over here as kind of a little yard ornament, a little garden ornament. I'm going to pot this up right here, this petunia. It's a super cow. I think it's a super cow. And I'm going to put it in the basket. It'll put a little bit of color back here because there's really nothing back here. It's just all, trees and basically trees. Little container right here with some indigo in it. It's blooming right now. It's been in this pot for like 3 years. Um, I do have some in my shade garden under my laurel oak tree, but I don't know if it's considered invasive because I don't know if it's actually native to Louisiana, but they spread so bad. So it spreads. I'm constantly cutting it out of my shade garden. So I put this in the container because I didn't want it spreading out here. And then these are little candelabra plants that my neighbor gave me. I've got a couple on the ground also, and then one over there. But these things, I'll put a picture up if I can remember. They get pretty tall. They can get like 5 feet tall, maybe more. They have really pretty yellow blossoms, blooms that kind of look like candelabra, I guess. But let me go ahead and do this project, and then I will show you the raised garden. Okay, well, I obviously no longer have a potting table out here to do this on, so I'm going to do it out here on the ground. And I've already put a little bit of, this is topsoil that we got from a garden supply store. I just go ahead and put it in the bottom, and then this is a mixture of Miracle-Gro potting soil and some mushroom compost. I'm going to do it right here where you can see me. So it is a Super Cow Purple Dawn. So yeah, the name of this is Purple Dawn. I didn't know if it had an actual label on it for the name. It's very vibrant. I love this color. It's going to stand out really well back here. This area gets a lot of sun. I mean, it's in full sun in this area in the front. Back here, it gets part sun. And this is a part sun plant. Very dried out. I haven't watered it since I bought this last night. Let's see. All right, hopefully this basket can hold this because the top bracket came loose. Don't want it to fall over. Let's see, how does that look? It'll perk up once I get it watered in. Okay, I have it good and watered in now. Let's start back here. This is a lantana that I moved from a bed over in my woodland area. I thought it was dying, so I stuck it over here, and it's putting on a lot of growth. I don't remember the name of it. It's a pink one. And right here, my husband had a couple of extra cucumbers. He said, "Do you want these?" I said, "I sure do." So it's growing little baby cucumbers. Look at there. Got cucumbers growing. I just seeded this back area up because everything I put in here wouldn't come up. And it's because this topsoil is pretty airy, pretty fluffy. It's hard to get stuff to grow in this unless it's already sown from winter sowing. And these are a giant zinnia, different colored zinnias. These are Blue Boy bachelor buttons that I sowed in this bed from seed, and they did germinate. And then these are some daisies my neighbor gave me. All of these little daisies around this rose. I think I asked him what the name was and he didn't recall what the exact variety was. But I see one getting ready to open. And then these are, okay, we're gonna try this again. My phone overheated and shut off the video, so I had to go in and let it cool off. Okay, right here I have some gladiolas that I purchased from Dollar General. I bought, I think, 3 packages. They were like $2 a piece. So they're called Sunset Mixed. This color wasn't on the actual picture. The colors were like a very pale orange, yellow, not this green, but that's really pretty color. It's got like a red throat. It's like a limey green chartreuse color. It's really pretty. But there's another one coming with a head on it. This one, something chewed on it. I tried to stake it, but I don't think it's going to survive. And then I've got one right here that's going to open. That one looks a little different from that one. And I have some Blazing Star Liatris down here, kind of spread out because I had this whole bed filled out with them, and it looks like all the ones in this section died back. And then over here I have some Coreopsis. This is a Scent Amazing Gardenia. This is a Pearl Glam Beautyberry. Putting on some little flowers. And this is some Crocosmia. I could have sworn this was different color the last year. I can't find a picture. I'll try to go look back in my photos. But I could have sworn this was Emily McKenzie, which is an orange and red. And this batch and the batch in my woodland garden are doing the same thing. They are this color now, which is really strange. They're more of a red. So I don't know. They're a little different. But I love those Crocosmias. They're very pretty. Down here I have a Mesa red blanket flower in that container. This is a Jubilation Gardenia. It's been here for a few years. This bed right here is Cascading Dianthus. It's pretty much done. I cut all the blooms back on it. It was very pretty when it was in bloom. Let's see, down here I planted some Rudbeckia. Let me see if I can find the tag. I think Dakota something. Let me check. No, this is Indian Summer. Getting ready to open. They're doing really well right there. These were super tiny when I planted them about 3 or 4 weeks ago. They've grown really fast. This container, I have all sorts of different echinacea. I never bought the white ones, so I don't know where those came from. I had Cheyenne Spirit in here, and I think the Wild Berry. This is part of the Cheyenne Spirit. I seriously have no clue where the white came from because I didn't plant any. I've looked for white, for the powwow white, but I've never bought any, so That's a little surprise right there. These are, I think, a coreopsis, mouse ears or something like that. I cut it all back too because they finished blooming as well. And then I have some Mesa Peach blanket flower. Very pretty. I love this color right here. I'm gonna go stand on this side because of the sun and the shadows. And these are Gerbera daisies down here. Different colors, some orange. I don't remember what all was in here. This is a moonflower that's growing up this vine, up this trellis, I mean. I've got it strung all the way up to the rain tree. I think it's called a golden rain tree. I had one right here that I had my husband cut down because you can see it's growing back though. It's growing shoots off of the trunk that he cut down. I'm gonna have to go back in there and cut that back down somehow. But it was getting too crazy. A lot of branches were dying, and it was throwing off too much shade. So I just had him cut it down. But I need to go back in there and get rid of that. This bed I had some hollyhocks, some giant hollyhocks, and I had several from last year, but only one of them bloomed this year. And before I even really got to enjoy the blooms, bugs were eating the blossoms. I was so angry. So I just pulled it out because it died. And this is the first time I've ever tried growing them, was last year. So I put some more in here this year, grew from seed in containers. Those are double champagne majorette. I think it's the name of these little hollyhocks, but I'm probably not going to grow those anymore because I don't think hollyhocks do very well down here. They're not doing very well for me. Random zinnia from last year. There's a couple more of these hollyhocks. This one's doing okay, it looks like, but like I said, I'm probably not going to buy any more hollyhocks. Those were from Baker's Creek Seed. So were these Cosmos. This is Xanthos. Let me show you the name because it doesn't. Okay, I'm going to try this again. My phone overheated again. Don't know why. It's a 15 Pro. I don't know why it is overheating so much, but I mean, it is hot out. We'll try my husband's phone. This is Cosmos Xanthos. Now these are from Baker's Creek Seeds. And then over here I have Cosmos Cosmic Red. Look how pretty these colors are. Vibrant. Then let's turn around and look at this bed right here. This is zinnias that I pulled out of that bed early on before we put the topsoil down. I had zinnias growing from last year, and so I pulled them out before I seeded up that back bed, and I stuck them in the back of this, and they just took to it really well. So I don't know what varieties. I didn't keep the seed packets from last year. These are from Baker's Creek Seed as well. This is Valkyrie Yellow Aster. Sorry, I think his phone is not focusing. There we go. It's super pretty. And then I've got two different varieties of strawberries in here. I had one that was ripe and something ate it when I guess right before I came out to pick it and eat it, but I've got lots of little blossoms. This is a pink mollygrass. Down here I have another bush lantana. I don't remember the variety. It's a really pretty color though. And this is another Jubilation Gardenia. A lot of it died back in the center this past winter, so I had to cut that out. And here I have a red rose. I don't know the variety. I planted these roses in front of these beds about 4 years ago, so I don't even know what they are. That was the first two things I put in these beds back here with these roses. Right here are some zinnias from last year that reseeded. All these huge ones in this section reseeded from last year. I think I have the packets for these. I don't remember the name, but I'll put the name up of this one, and then the purple one is Purple Prince. That one is right at my eye level. These are from Baker's Creek Seed as well. These are Oklahoma White, and this is Oklahoma Salmon. I guess I should have planted more because I think I had extra seed, but I thought they were going to get bigger than that, and I did throw some fertilizer out here, so I don't know. Right here is Mexican Tithonia that seeded itself because I had one right here last year. It was massive, and that's over my head. But the butterflies absolutely love these Mexican Tithonias. And then these are Cosmos from last year from that bed as well. I pulled them all out because I wanted that bed to be a fresh start. So I stuck them back here. Wasn't sure if they were gonna, if the roots would take, but they did. This bed back here is brand new. My husband had to rebuild the whole thing because the wood had completely dilapidated. So in the back is Lovelace Bleeding Amaranth. Thought they were going to get taller than that. I think the packet said like 4 feet or 5 feet, and they're only like 2 feet. But I love them. And then right here I have some Asian Garden Celosia. These are transplanted in here because I seeded this middle section with some Verbena bonariensis, and I tried twice and it did not come up. So I took these Asian Garden Celosia that self-seeded from last year in my front garden bed, and for the most part they're growing. These down here aren't growing as well, but they're taking off on this end. They get a little bit more shade, I think, over here. So these are full sun plants, but I think it's just the shade is helping them to get bigger than sitting out here in the direct sun, because the soil is, it's kind of a flaky soil. So you have to dig down really deep to get some good soil. But this whole bed is made with topsoil, so I do need to water these in. They dry out really fast. This front is pink basket flower, and they are getting close to opening. I have not yet got to see what these look like. I mean, other than the photo. These are from Baker's Creek Seed as well. These pink basket flower. This one, well, all of them are, I sprayed them off the other day. They are infested with aphids. That massive mess. I need to spray these off again. I purchased some live ladybugs last summer and released them in my gardens, but I am not seeing any of my ladybugs. The only ladybugs I've been seeing here are the Asian ladybugs, and they, from my knowledge, from my understanding, they actually kill our native ladybugs. I didn't tell you, I've got some canna lily. Those canna lily all came from my husband's late mother. We put those back there probably 3 or 4 years ago, and they're finally getting enough sun because that tree's out of the way, that they're putting on some growth. Super pretty. Need to get that tree out of there. Down here are some Louisiana iris. They've never bloomed. I just moved these over here last fall. I'm hoping that they'll get a little bit more sun back here now, and more water to put some growth on and bloom next year maybe. I have 2 more pink mulligrass. This is a forsythia that was just put in the ground last spring. Well, spring of 2024, and it had like just a handful of little yellow flowers. Not much at all. Then this area, I'm going to redo this whole area because of the greenhouse. I'm going to redo it. That'll be in the future. But back here, I moved a lot of my triple orange daylilies because I was trying to mask and hide this this compost area. But I'm going to do something different with it. Maybe this fall when it cools down. And then got some various flowers growing back there from sod and stuff that we throw back there that just started sprouting on their own. I have an emerald green arborvitae right here. These are tropical, I think they're called something Tropicana. They might be they're not the black. I have black Tropicana in my other bed, but these are a Tropicana canna lily. And a sweet little nasturtium back here. And this is a passion flower vine. Let me pull the name. Oh, boy, just broke it. It's getting old. Passiflora incense. Usually I have fritillary butterfly caterpillars on it that eat it up, but I haven't seen any yet. And then I have another cucumber back here growing on this trellis with green vine. When we first put this in, it came from my husband's late mother's place. She had it on her shed, and it was growing so bad it was inside of her shed. The vines were all the way inside of her shed. Well, I wasn't going to put it against a building, and we thought at the time that it was honeysuckle, because somebody told me it was honeysuckle. But when it bloomed this spring, I was like, that is definitely not honeysuckle. That is just native Carolina jessamine. So I was a little disappointed that it was the jessamine, because I've got it. It grows native out here, all in these trees. But I was looking towards getting to smell some honeysuckle, and it wasn't honeysuckle. Stand back here so you can get a view of it, of this area. And I'm going to keep my greenhouse out of the video if I can do that, because I don't want to show it yet. See how pretty that bike looks back there? That little pop of color back there did quite a bit. I'll be happy when this bed back here grows, when the flowers start blooming. And when this bed back here, I'm going to seed this bed with some marigolds that I bought. It's the giant marigold. We'll see if those can have time to bloom before the end of the season. It should. We have a very long season down here. Usually flowers bloom into November. But that wraps this up. All I wanted to do was show the raised garden area. It's not very big. I mean, I guess it's pretty big for a raised garden area. But yeah, I wanted to show that, and I hope you all enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, guys.